Guys, we are here. Obviously, this man needs no introduction, but I'll let him go ahead and introduce himself.
What's up, y'all? Landon Persinger, creative director of Memphis football. Thanks for having me on.
Landon, thanks for taking the time out. I know you're busy. Y'all got winter stuff coming up, but give us a little insight on what's going on at Memphis.
Yeah, right now we're working winter workouts. Got a couple 6 a.m. workouts, a couple days of the week. Really just finished. I know, right? Really just
Mhm.
finished up our season, getting ready for spring ball here in a couple weeks.
Nice. I know you're a busy guy, but on a day to day during the season, give us an idea of what a day in the life looks like.
So no day in college sports is the same, but overall for me, really, it's just when I first get in, I want to plan out my content for the day, make sure everything's ready to post that needs posted. Usually in the morning, I'm cranking out some graphics work, whatever that's like, preparing for game day, for the game week for next week, whatever that kind of looks like. And then we'll have a practice most days, other than the walkthrough day on Thursday, but we'll have practice. So go shoot that. After that, at those pictures, at the video, get that stuff where it needs to go. And then really it's just like planning ahead, making sure you're ready for if we're going on the road, you got to be ready to head out, have all your stuff packed, all your camera equipment, make sure your student interns are ready, all that stuff.
I mean, we know you're big time. You got interns and
Oh,
assistants and all this stuff now. Um, but how far ahead would you say you have to plan out ahead? How far ahead do you normally plan out?
so overall for a season like branding, that starts June, July. Like I started making our gifts for last season in June. I started making the gifts then. And then as far as like really August, once fall camp hits, that's really when you turn focus on that because fall camp, all it is you're shooting practice and then you're just turning around photo, video, whatever the content is for the day. If we mic up a coach, we're turning that around. But then it's all in that other dead time you're planning for the season. So really August it ramps up, but some stuff, more of the bigger stuff, it takes a lot of turnaround. Like we made over 300 gifts for Twitter. I mean, that's got to start in June and July.
Now, obviously, you talked about the mic'd up stuff with the coach, but when you talk about planning stuff out from June, July, um, like right now, you don't have really much going on, right?
Right. It's just winter workouts, really.
Now, you talked about branding, you talked about that. What does a branding like? How do you put your own little fingerprint, your touch, to make it a good brand for Memphis?
Yeah, so overall, branding wise, what I like to do is wherever I'm at, I like to emphasize what the place what stands out about the place. So here in Memphis, we're obviously city cultured. So like having the skyline of the city is like one of our main elements and like most of our graphics. So as far as Memphis, it's city color or city culture, blue collar, grit and grind. It's this tough kind of look that we like to bring. And then on top of that, we want to bring this energetic look to our stuff. So overall, it's just kind of like this tough environment. This is Memphis. People here at Memphis kind of, there's like a little Memphis language thing too. So as far as like, we'd even brand like our captions, like, yes, sir, Maine, Dubski, like all this different kind of language stuff that's really Memphis thing.
Hey, that's awesome right there. Um, Now we'll talk about it here in just a little bit. We'll talk about the portal. We'll talk about the NIL stuff, all that. But for all those wondering, I mean, you are the youngest creator at a D1 school, correct? Like director.
Yeah, FBS. Yeah.
Um, when we'll talk about now, we'll talk about your timeline.
Mm-hmm.
You started younger, obviously, than most, but let's hear from you about your timeline to where you're at now.
Yeah, so growing up, obviously just played sports. I kind of figured out I wanted to be in sports my whole life, whether that was playing or working. Kind of got as I got older into high school, played basketball, travel, all that growing up, but realized like I wanted to be able to go play basketball at D1 level. So I was like, okay, it's time to find something else. Taking your head like I want dropping buckets all the time. But nah, So like freshman year of high school, just started seeing these edits and stuff on Instagram. So I was like, that's cool. Let's do that. Got these apps on my phone and all that. Just started playing around, doing different stuff. And then by sophomore year, got a laptop. Got on. I contacted a bunch of basketball programs in the state of West Virginia, high school ones that I was like looking to work for them, whatever. And then got on with St. Joe's girls basketball down Huntington. Got to do their stuff for a season there, which was huge. Got to do like game day graphics, game week recaps,
Right.
final scores, all the basic stuff. That was a huge step for me because like I finally got to work with a team instead of just freelancing all the time. Then
Right.
after that season, got to freelance with a couple more programs, a bunch more athletes in the state. Then finally landed to you all, got into a little bit of graphics and expanded from there. Is definitely grateful for y'all's time there.
We definitely appreciate you. I mean, we'll never, like I said, and I've told you this a million times. We knew, and we joke about it. We did a lot. We did a lot for a lot of athletes in the state while you were here. But we always told you from the jump, you did. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, one of the first graphics you did was the coal mine graphic for the football players we had. Um, that's when we were like, okay, we got to get this guy. We got to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
We talked to you. I mean, I think it took a couple weeks to get everything where it needed to be.
A little bit.
But the biggest thing was, and I've said this from the jump. We always said, don't forget the little people. We know you're going to do bigger and better things. And we joked about it. We joked about it. We did a lot together in your time at WSN. You did. I mean, we did. You did the graphics every month for us. I would say in a timely manner, but we all know that
Uh,
we were reaching out the 28th and 29th of every month,
hey,
and we
they
were like,
got done though. They got done.
they definitely got done, and I'll be grateful for that.
Yeah.
Um, but we always told you that we knew that you were using WSN and the platform we had as a stepping stone to something bigger and bigger and bigger. But once you left WSN, tell everybody just a little bit about just wherever you went.
Yeah. First off, like my time with WSN was huge because the opportunity, like our goals matched. Like we wanted to serve athletes in the way that we knew West Virginia, like the recruiting cycle was kind of down compared to other states. So like us serving athletes, like we had the same goals in mind. So working with y'all was a huge blessing, a huge part. And I got to see like once I worked with y'all, I got to see a bigger picture of like, hey, I'm not just the guy that makes edits. Like I can actually serve more people. So it's
Right.
definitely a blessing to work with you all.
And that was the big thing that we did. And one of the biggest things when me and you talked about it, we were like, let's do a documentary. We
Yeah.
joked about it. We joked about it. COVID hit. We were like, okay. We had the girl showcase that we wanted to do right before COVID to help out. We had a bunch of college, like we had everything lined up, but COVID hit. We couldn't do anything. So we have a great relationship with Pat Jones at Nitro, and we presented him the idea. We're like, hey, let's run a documentary on your all's program. They ended up winning a state championship that year. Fantastic documentary. Couldn't have ended a better way.
For real, yeah.
But what did you take from WSN
Mm-hmm.
and all of that to where you're at now?
Yeah. I think overall it's really just the opportunity to serve and like support. It costs $0 to support anybody. So like those are the biggest two things. Now I get to, so I could come in every day, serve 18 to 24 year olds that are in their most crucial time of their lives because they're right after they leave here, they're going on to making their career path. So like overall is really just like learning like, hey, this is the right thing. This is the right way to do things. This is how you serve people. This is how you show love to people. That's kind of what I got from WSN.
And that's the biggest thing that we've always talked about when we first started talking to you. Our goals and our mindset, they were, I mean, it was in sync.
Mm,
We talked about, hey, we want to help these athletes. They deserve the same recognition as these bigger states. What can we do? And I truly remember one of the first times we actually talked, not through text, but on the phone. I swear we talked for 2, 3 hours on what we could do, how we could expand. I mean, just how we can help these kids.
yeah.
And that's always been our mindset here at WSN is let's help this kid. And we're going to jump from that, and then we're going to talk about like the portal. We see it all the time, obviously, with what we do. but you have the firsthand experience. Is the portal, is it helping? Is it hurting? Is it really not a big deal? Like, what are your thoughts and your takes on it being at Memphis?
The portal overall, it's just like the new normal of college football. Like it's just a part of it that you have to embrace. I think overall, it's obviously a big change for everybody, but like I said, it's just the new normal. So like you can't really do anything about it. Teams are benefiting it off more than other teams, of course. Some aren't benefiting on it as much, but it's really just the new normal. It's here to stay, and you just have to adapt to it.
And that's the thing that we run into all the time is we've had coaches tell us, and they're like, "Oh well, why would I recruit high school when I can go into the portal, get a kid?" And I do get that. I do 100% get that. But we've talked before about culture and building a program and things like that. But would you not want to get that 4 year kid to learn from maybe a grad transfer or something like that?
Overall, it's just really a balance. So really, how we're using the portal here at Memphis is if we have a guy leave, we have to bring in a guy from the portal to replace him. Basically, I mean,
Right.
lose a guy, you gotta get a guy. So
Right.
overall, really, our high school, we're still hitting high school as hard as we were before the portal. We're still gonna go get high school kids because what you'll see with these portal guys, I mean, you're bringing in grad transfers that are here for 1 year and they're done. Or you're bringing in guys that have 2 years. But if you're bringing in these high school guys that you can continuously develop with all their years they're here, they're going to be studs by the time they're in their junior senior season. And then also like bringing in those grad transfers, they've never been here at Memphis. They don't know the standards, the culture and stuff. So if you bring in a freshman, after that freshman year, they've done learned. So like a sophomore can be teaching a new grad transfer like, hey, this is the way we do things, this
Right.
is our standard, all that stuff. So we're still hitting high school just as hard.
Now, I know another big thing in today's day and age is the NIL.
Mm-hmm.
Has it helped? Has it hurt? Like, what are you seeing on the NIL front at Memphis or at maybe another program or whatever? Like, what are your thoughts? And let's get my thoughts out of the way first. Is yes, these kids do need paid.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never say that they don't because these colleges are making millions and millions of dollars on them, whatever.
Yeah.
But my biggest thing is it shouldn't be going to the highest bidder. And it's what it feels like now is it's just like, and I could be completely wrong because I'm not in that world every day like you are, but outside looking in, it's like, okay, well, this college has more money than this college, so they're going to get the 5 star kid because they're able to pay him. Like, is that anything you all are seeing or?
I think overall NIL once again it's just like transfer portal. It's new. It's here to stay. I think it's very interesting how NIL is and what these schools have done. Obviously, every kid they use it differently. Some kids are going to get tons of money. Some aren't going to make anything. It's just kind of how you utilize it. And here at Memphis, we've been fortunate enough. We have a couple collectives, and then just a bunch of just different stuff going on where we've actually thrived off NIL, and it's been very helpful for our student athletes, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, you got kids that come up from nothing and their only escape is sports, and then they're able to make a little bit of money and fantastic. Um, we've talked NIL, we've talked transfer portal. You've come a long way from old Herbert Hoover.
Yeah.
um, but what would you tell a kid, whether that's on the athletic side, whether it's on the creative side? What would your message, if you could talk to a kid that says, "Hey, this is what I want to do," what would you tell these kids?
Overall, just believe in yourself. When opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. At times, I was like, everybody has their hard times and stuff. At times, like when I was in high school, I had this vision before like everybody else in my sport group could see it. So it's like I'm working up here and they're thinking I'm down here. So it's like I just gotta go on my own route. I gotta take my own lane and kind of just do my own thing. And then how you do that is you just work hard every single day. You gotta work when the lights are off, and that's how they come on and shine. So really, just believe in yourself and do your own thing.
And that's the biggest thing. And I've told you 1,000 times when we first started WSN. I mean, the vision wasn't to do what we're doing now,
Mm-hmm.
but being able to help these kids I mean, that's what it's all about. Um, but we had people just like you had people tell us, "You're not gonna make it. That's pointless. Don't do that. You're just wasting your time." But in my side of everything, it was a huge motivation thing for me. Like when we first started WSN, and I talked to people that were closest to me, and I had people that were close to me at the time and
Hmm.
said, "Oh, you're just wasting your time. Don't do it." But every person who told me, and I still have it to this day, I made a list on every person that told me,
Hmm.
"Hey, don't do it." And I looked at it every morning when I woke up
Yeah.
because it just motivated me to do better and better. And that's like today, everybody's like, "Oh, you're doing." I'm never happy with where we're at.
Yeah. That's
We can
like,
always,
yeah, that's just like my journey. I mean, coming up through high school and then landing the little Akron gig during high school and Miami, Ohio gig during high school, then going to Akron, then full time Yukon, full time Memphis now. It's like I'm still young and like right before I got to Memphis, I mean, I was interviewing for some big positions, and I get all the way through, and they're like, "You're too young," and I'm like, "Okay, you see everything I got. If you take out my age, what's the difference?" But
right.
I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, people are gonna hate on you for one thing and then love you for the next. You just gotta kind of block it out and go on your own journey. And it's really, it's all God's calling for real. Like He's put me in the position I am today.
And that's the biggest thing. And I'm glad you talked about that. Was um, you have to number one, you have to love what you do.
Hmm.
Um, but we were always told if you don't have people hating on what you do, then you're not doing something right.
Yeah,
Um,
you gotta make noise for people to try to turn the noise the other way.
and you've seen it firsthand, even at our level, with stuff that we would do. I mean, you'd always have negative comments, you'd have negative feedback, and that's fine. That just motivates us more. We did a lot of stuff together. We did a lot of things together. I mean, we talked about the documentary a little bit. Um, we gave out our awards for the post or for the season. I mean, we did a lot, and I mean, since we've been a company and everything like that, the biggest thing was we've seen people come in and try to do what we do and emulate what we do, but they don't understand the work that goes into it. Like
Hmm.
when we first started our company, bro, we were hitting like elementary camps, middle school camps that these high schools would put on just to get our name out.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do. You have to put in the legwork.
Hmm.
And I know you taught yourself basically how to do everything, right?
Yeah.
You didn't take a class, you didn't do that. You literally just watched YouTube videos, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of late nights where the key because like during the day, there's always people and stuff, but like I'd go, go to bed at like 11, go in my room, lights off, parents go to sleep, and it's just me time, me and the laptop focus, man. YouTube graphics. I mean, and the thing about the creative industry is just reps on reps. So kind of like the weight room. So like the more you do it, the better you get. Just over time, like I spent a lot of late nights grind it out. And now I'm not spending as lot as late nights because I already got through the grind of it.
Right. And that's the biggest thing is, I mean, you'll have people that want to be there and support you and fantastic. You just have to always remember, and I tell kids all the time is keep your circle small
Mm-hmm.
because you can have 60 people that, oh yeah, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then you get to it and those same 48, 50 people are the ones that are hoping for your downfall.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. Keep the circle small. Know who's your support system. Know who's loyal to you. You just got to you gotta know who's got your back when you need it the most.
And that's the thing. And we talked about it. Everybody's like, "Oh, Landon's doing great things in Memphis," and they're like, "Have you talked to him?" Yeah, we talk at least once a week. Like that's the thing. We built that relationship once we were like once you came on board. Like we worked that friendship and partnership. But it and we always tell everybody this that want to sign up. The biggest thing is with WSN is we're a huge family.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
that's for sure. I mean, just like working with you all, I kind of saw like it really was like a family atmosphere when you're going client to client, and you're like, this client's from this state, this client's from this state, and like we're like speaking on the same level. So yeah, and now like really I see that with my stops and especially here in Memphis, like these coworkers are my best friends. Like when we're going out, we're going to games, we're having fun. It's like who you go with. I'm like my guy that works right beside me, the guy that works right down the
Right.
hall from me because he's my brother, he's my family. I know he has my back because we do this day to day. We're both trying to achieve the same thing. We're both trying to win ball games and stuff. So really, it's just like you gotta know your circle.
And that's the big thing that we talked about. I mean, literally, when we would go to games, it would be me, you, and then Josh,
Mm-hmm.
and we were good with it. Like we had a great time. We took trips to Morgantown. Like we had a ball because we all had the same goals.
Yeah.
Every goal that we had was in sync. Like you would say something, and I'd be like, yes, and it would just be, that's in my opinion that's what helped expand us to where we're at now is you have to have the same mind, you have to have people when you're in your corner that have the same mindset, the same goals, they want the same stuff, because if you I've
Mm-hmm.
had the wrong people and it didn't work.
Yeah.
But once
That's the exact same like how it is even here. Like when you're bringing in guys to your program, like they might be the best player ever. They might do all this and all that, but are they a fit? Like, do they go to class? Do they show up to class on time? Do they, get all their academics taken care of? How are they taking care of their body? Are they recovering?
right.
Like all that stuff, and not even that. It's like how do you behave outside of football? What are you looking at? What are you putting out on social media? It's like all these little things is like you represent us now. You're part of our family, and we got to make sure we got the right people to make our family look good.
And it's 100% like a puzzle. If
Mm-hmm.
the piece don't fit, you can't force it to fit.
Literally.
As much as we would want this person or this person to join us at WSN, if the fit's not there, the fit's not there. Because our number one goal is to help as many kids in the state of West Virginia as we can.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it was easy to bring you on, is because you had the same mindset as we did.
Yeah. Just the opportunity to serve is like there's no greater thing. Like we're serving athletes and like obviously being around sports, like athletes was so big. Like just the opportunity to serve and you're working with people you want to work with because you're working in sports. That's my passion. Like you got, like you
Right.
said, you gotta do what you love, and I love what I do. So really, all
Right.
just come full circle.
And that's the big thing. And like I've told you before, it's not about, oh, how many kids can we get to the next level so we can say, oh, this person's playing here, this person. No, it's not about that. It's about helping these kids get an education, doing better for their life. And if a basketball or football or softball or volleyball or whatever
Mm-hmm.
helps them get to that level, then have fun at that next level doing what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, look, it's not about, oh, we'll come to a game in college or whatever. It's about, hey, my graduation from college is this date, and that's 100% all that matters.
Yeah, for sure. Totally agree.
But Landon, we appreciate you. I know you're a busy guy.
I don't know about all that. And
we got an announcement coming up, a little partnership coming up. We'll
also,
a little something in the works, but keep your eyes posted to the WSM page. But Landon, thank you again for taking the time out and talking with us tonight.
sir, thanks for having me.
Not a problem, brother. Appreciate you.
Take care.